There are moments in your life when heaven does not whisper. It interrupts. Moments when the spiritual realm steps in with a message so urgent, so time-sensitive, so divinely aligned, that you cannot afford to ignore it. Today, this is one of those moments. If you are hearing this, it is not an accident. You didn't click by mistake. You didn't stumble here by coincidence. Your soul was summoned. For the last several days, Archangel Michael has been stirring in the heavenly realm, preparing a sudden shift. A divine intervention. A breakthrough that was delayed, blocked, or resisted by forces that did not want you to step into your destiny. But heaven has issued an order. A heavenly countdown has been activated. And Archangel Michael is stepping forward with his sword of truth, cutting through every spiritual barrier that has restrained you. Today's message holds an instruction, a warning, a revelation, and a blessing that is about to unfold faster than you expect. Before we begin, take a deep breath. Open your heart. And allow this message to reach the deepest part of your spirit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support more messages like this. Archangel Michael is stepping forward with a message that carries weight, urgency, and a divine seriousness that cannot be ignored. He says, "The countdown has begun, and heaven has already moved on your behalf. For many days now, you have been feeling something shifting within you and around you. Your spirit has been sensing a change. Your intuition has been whispering. Something is coming, something is different, something is aligning. This is because the spiritual realm has been preparing you for something much bigger than what your physical eyes can currently see. There are two reasons why the countdown has begun. Heaven's timing has aligned with your season. There are divine moments, rare, powerful, sacred, where heaven says, 'Now. It's time.' This is one of those moments. The angels have been repositioning you. God has been preparing you. Your spirit has been stretched, refined, humbled, and awakened. Everything you faced in the last season, every battle, every heartbreak, every disappointment, was not punishment. It was preparation. You didn't survive that season by accident. You survived it because heaven needed you alive, awake, and ready for this exact moment in your destiny. Archangel Michael says, "You are standing at the doorway of a divine turning point. And the countdown marks the beginning of the breakthrough heaven has already released. A divine order has been issued in your favor. Just as God commanded the Red Sea to part. Just as He commanded angels to shut the mouths of lions. Just as He commanded storms to be still. A command has been given in heaven concerning your life. This command has set things into motion. You may not see everything yet. But spiritually, the movement has already started. This countdown represents blocked paths being opened, delayed blessings being released, divine justice being activated, hidden enemies being exposed, spiritual attacks being dismantled, protection being strengthened, your name being placed on the path of opportunity. This is why you've been feeling unusual pressure. This is why your emotions have been intense. This is why your energy has been shifting so dramatically. This is why old connections feel heavy and new clarity feels sharp. Your spirit is responding to what heaven is doing. Archangel Michael says, "What I have started in your life cannot be stopped. Not by fear. Not by doubt. Not by delay. Not by any force of darkness. The countdown is not a warning of danger. It is a sign of transition. You are not counting down to chaos. You are not counting down to loss. You are counting down to revelation. You are counting down to elevation. You are counting down to the moment where heaven interrupts your life with divine purpose. The spiritual pressure you felt is a sign. Some of you have been feeling restlessness, sudden emotional waves, unusual tiredness, intense dreams, random moments of spiritual awareness. Feeling detached from old habits or old people. This is not random. This is your spirit adjusting to the shift. You are stepping out of an old identity. You are stepping out of an old energy. You are stepping out of an old timeline. And heaven is pulling you into alignment with your true path. Archangel Michael says, the countdown is the final stage of your spiritual repositioning. You are being moved into a place where the right opportunities can find you. The right people can support you. The right blessings can reach you. The right doors can open. The right path can appear. Nothing is happening against you. Everything is happening for you. Why you were led to this message at this exact time. There is no coincidence in the spiritual realm. Your angels guided you here because heaven is preparing you. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. Now. Archangel Michael says, you are being awakened for an assignment that cannot wait any longer. This message is your activation. Your divine wake-up call. Your spiritual confirmation that the countdown is already in motion. In the next hours. In the next days. You will begin to see signs, synchronicities, and sudden shifts that reveal the truth. Heaven is working in your favor. Something big is coming. And you are being positioned for it. Take a deep breath. Place your hand over your heart. And receive this truth. The countdown has begun. Because your breakthrough has begun. Archangel Michael steps closer now, not as a distant guardian in the skies but as a warrior who has stood beside you in battles you never saw. His presence is firm, commanding, and filled with heavenly authority. He speaks clearly. You were chosen. And because you were chosen, you were targeted. This is one of the deepest truths about your journey. You have been carrying a spiritual identity, a divine calling, a destiny marked with light. And darkness recognized it long before you became aware of it. You didn't blend in. You weren't meant to. Your soul carries something rare, something powerful, something heaven ordained. And because of this, you were fought. Why you were fought so hard? There are people who live ordinary lives, and then there are people like you, individuals born with a spiritual blueprint that threatens the plans of darkness. From childhood, you probably sensed that you were different. You felt deeply. You understood things without being taught. You saw truths others ignored. You carried burdens you didn't deserve. You faced challenges others never encountered. This wasn't coincidence. It was spiritual recognition. Archangel Michael explains. Your spirit carries fire. Your presence carries authority. Your future carries impact. Because of this, darkness worked overtime to break you before you discovered your purpose. The enemy saw your potential and tried to destroy the path before you could walk it. Every setback. Every heartbreak. Every betrayal. Every sudden loss. Every moment of confusion. These were not signs of weakness. These were signs of calling. You were targeted because you are not ordinary. Some people simply exist. But you were created to shift atmospheres. You were designed to influence destinies. You were shaped to carry light in places most people fear to stand. You were set apart long before you understood why. This spiritual identity made some people uncomfortable. They sensed your strength even when you did not. They felt your purpose even when you were still awakening to it. So they doubted you, mocked you, envied you, misunderstood you, tried to silence you, tried to dim your confidence. Not because you were weak, but because your spirit revealed their shadows. But heaven watched all of it. None of it was unseen. None of it was wasted. Archangel Michael says, you were not losing. You were being shaped. The attacks were confirmation, not punishment. You must understand this clearly. The intensity of your battles is the evidence of your destiny. People destined for little fight little. People destined for greatness face storms that try to erase them. You were never under attack because you lacked power. You were under attack because you carried too much of it. This is why. Your heart was tried. Your faith was shaken. Your energy was drained. Your identity was challenged. Your relationships were tested. Your plans were delayed. The enemy wanted you discouraged, distracted, and disconnected from your divine purpose. But you did not break. Even on the days you felt shattered inside, your spirit refused to stay down. That resilience was heaven's mark on your life. Archangel Michael protected you all along. There were battles you never had to fight because Archangel Michael fought them for you. You were rescued from situations that would have destroyed your spirit. You walked away from people who were not assigned to your purpose. You were protected from opportunities that looked good but would have derailed your destiny. There were things you wanted that God blocked. There were people you loved that God removed. There were plans you had that God interrupted. These were not losses. These were protections. Archangel Michael says, "What left your life made room for what is coming. What hurt you prepared you. What tried to stop you activated you. You are rising now. You are no longer the version of yourself who once felt lost or overlooked. The battles you survived have sharpened your discernment, strengthened your character, deepened your spirit, and awakened your purpose. You have become someone darkness can no longer manipulate. You have become someone wiser, stronger, clearer, and more aligned." Archangel Michael declares, "You are no longer being attacked for who you were. You are being positioned for who you are becoming. The shift is happening. The warfare is breaking. The blessing is aligning. The breakthrough is approaching. The victory is written. You were chosen, and now you are rising into the reason why." Archangel Michael now speaks with a calm, steady authority, as if revealing a truth long hidden from you. The sign you are waiting for will not appear randomly. It will appear when your spirit is ready to receive it. This is one of the most misunderstood spiritual principles. Many people want signs, visions, confirmations, breakthroughs, but they do not understand that heaven reveals things not when you are wishing, but when you are aligned. The timing is never accidental. It is always intentional. You have reached a point of spiritual readiness. For the first time in a long time, your spirit is open. Your heart is not as guarded as it once was. Your mind is clearer. Your soul is more receptive. And heaven has been waiting for this exact moment. Archangel Michael explains. The sign could not come before. You were not spiritually steady enough to understand it. In past seasons, if heaven had shown you what was coming, you might have doubted it. You might have resisted it. You might have misinterpreted it. You might have been overwhelmed. You might have spoken too soon. You might have allowed wrong people to influence you. You might have sabotaged your own blessing unknowingly. The sign was delayed for your protection, not your punishment. You were being prepared internally before anything could manifest externally. Heaven needed to clear the noise around you. There were too many voices around you. Too many distractions. Too many attachments. Too much emotional clutter. Too much spiritual interference. Before the sign could appear, heaven had to remove certain people from your path. Close doors that were draining your energy. Expose hidden motives. End cycles that were blocking your growth. Break emotional patterns that kept you stuck. Bring clarity where confusion was trying to control you. Every loss, every separation, every sudden shift served a purpose. Archangel Michael says, the silence you felt recently was not emptiness. It was alignment. You were being separated from noise so you could hear heaven clearly. Your spirit has shifted into a new frequency. You have noticed the shift. Your soul feels more awakened. Your intuition is sharper. Your dreams feel more vivid. Your thoughts feel more focused. Your energy feels different. Your old patterns no longer fit. You feel a subtle sense of urgency. You feel a quiet pull towards something greater. This is not your imagination. This is spiritual alignment. When your spirit rises to a new frequency, heaven responds. You are vibrating at a level that allows you to receive what you once could not. Archangel Michael explains. Your readiness determines your revelation. Your alignment determines your activation. You have finally reached the place where the sign can be released without being distorted by fear, doubt, or interference. The sign will not force its way into your life, it will flow into your life. Heaven never breaks down doors. Heaven opens them. The sign that is coming to you will not arrive in chaos. It will arrive in clarity. It will not come to confuse you. It will come to confirm you. It will not come to weaken your spirit. It will come to strengthen it. This sign is not designed to pressure you. It is designed to prepare you. This is why Archangel Michael says, pay attention. The next shift will not be loud. It will be precise. The sign may come through. A sudden thought you cannot shake. A dream that feels more real than usual. A message that speaks exactly to your situation. A number sequence that appears repeatedly. A person who delivers the right words at the right time. An opportunity that shows up unexpectedly. A feeling of undeniable certainty. A moment of deep inner peace. A door opening without resistance. The sign is already approaching you. You are not waiting for it. It is waiting for you to receive it. Why heaven is releasing the sign now? Because everything in your life has shifted into alignment. Your mindset. Your awareness. Your emotional maturity. Your spiritual sensitivity. Your ability to discern intentions. Your willingness to release what no longer serves you. Your openness to step into your true path. Heaven has seen your growth. Your angels have seen your resilience. Your spirit has proved its readiness. You have passed a spiritual threshold. Archangel Michael says. You are now positioned to see what was hidden from you. This is why the atmosphere around your life feels different. This is why your intuition has been heightened. This is why you feel a quiet pull forward. This is why your old life feels distant. This is why the countdown has begun. The sign will appear because the season has arrived. Prepare yourself, the sign will require response. A sign is not just information. A sign is activation. It will require you to step forward. Make a decision. Trust your intuition. Release old fears. Embrace a new direction. Walk in faith instead of doubt. Respond instead of retreat. Rise instead of shrink. Archangel Michael says. What is coming will not require fear. It will require readiness. You will not miss it. You will not misunderstand it. You will not be confused. You will not question it for long. Your spirit will recognize it instantly. The sign is not coming to help you escape your life. The sign is coming to elevate your life. It will reveal your next chapter. For a long time, you have been walking through a season that felt repetitive. You prayed, you waited, you believed, you pushed, you got up every day hoping today would be different. But the scenery did not change. The people stayed the same, circumstances stayed the same, and the silence of heaven made you wonder if your prayers were being stored on a shelf somewhere, forgotten and untouched. But now something is different. You may not recognize it yet, but you are standing in the early stages of a divine turning point. God has been preparing the ground long before you ever noticed the shift. The prayers you thought went unheard were actually building the foundation for what is about to unfold. The seasons where you felt drained, unnoticed, unseen, and pushed to your limits were the seasons where heaven was planting deeper roots in your spirit. Not to break you, but to strengthen you for where you are going. Because the promise God has for you requires more than excitement. It requires depth. And depth is created in the quiet battles, the lonely nights, and the moments where you had every reason to give up, yet you chose to hold on to faith even when faith felt fragile. Now, in this turning point, the spiritual realm around you is aligning. Angels have been dispatched. Old cycles are being broken. Hidden traps that were meant to delay you are being dismantled behind the scenes. What felt like silence was actually strategy. What looked like waiting was actually preparation. What seemed like loss was actually rearrangement. This turning point is where God begins to reveal why He kept you in certain rooms and removed you from others. Why some relationships faded. Why certain plans did not work out. Why some doors stayed shut no matter how hard you knocked. It is only here, at this specific chapter of your journey, that you can finally look back and say, now I understand why God protected me from what I once begged Him to let me have. Everything makes more sense at the turning point. This is also the place where spiritual resistance increases. Anytime heaven gets ready to release something significant, the enemy tries to create confusion, fear, or distraction. You may feel sudden fatigue, sudden doubt, sudden emotional pressure. You may feel like you are being spiritually stretched. But that is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of transition. Pressure always increases before breakthrough. Tension always rises before release. The darkest part of night is always just before dawn. But here is the truth you must hold on to in this turning point: God has already gone ahead of you. He is not planning your victory. He has already established it. He is not deciding your outcome. He has already written it. Long before you felt this shift, God prepared this moment. And nothing, no person, no attack, no mistake, no obstacle, has the authority to cancel what God has spoken over your life. This turning point is not about chance. It is about timing. God waited until the exact moment when your spirit was ready, your heart had matured, your mind had sharpened, and your faith had expanded. Because what He is about to place in your hands now requires a version of you that did not exist a few months ago, or even a few weeks ago. Growth changes timing. Healing changes timing. Spiritual maturity changes timing. God wasn't withholding the promise. He was preparing you to handle it. As you step deeper into this turning point, you will begin to notice signs of alignment. Opportunities will appear unexpectedly. Conversations will open doors you didn't even know existed. People you lost will be replaced with people who help you grow, elevate, and step into purpose. Your intuition will become sharper. Your peace will become stronger. Your old fears will feel weaker. Even the way you think will shift. You will start dreaming again. You will start expecting again. You will start believing again. For a long time, you survived. But God is shifting you from survival into purpose, from pressure into clarity, from confusion into certainty. When God moves, He never moves halfway. He completes what He starts. And He is completing something in your life right now. This section is about the divine reversal that happens when God breathes on your situation. What was stagnant begins to flow. What was delayed begins to accelerate. What was blocked becomes open. What was hidden becomes visible. What was confusing becomes clear. What was heavy becomes light. What was impossible becomes possible. But here is the most important part: this turning point requires surrender. Not the kind of surrender where you give up, but the kind where you give in to God's timing, God's strategy, God's direction, and God's plan. The kind of surrender where you stop forcing doors that do not open and trust that the doors God has prepared for you will not require strain, manipulation, or pressure. They will open when you arrive because they were designed for you. If you try to rush this moment, you will create frustration. If you try to control this moment, you will create confusion. But if you trust God in this moment, you will walk into the season He has written for you with strength, clarity, and favor. The turning point is not just where your story shifts. It is where your identity shifts. Where your mindset shifts. Where your authority shifts. Where your spiritual confidence rises. Where you stop functioning from the memory of who you used to be and start stepping into the identity of who God created you to become. You may not see the full picture yet, but pay attention. Pay attention to the people who suddenly appear in your life. Pay attention to the opportunities that begin to emerge. Pay attention to the doors that open effortlessly. Pay attention to the ideas that come to your mind. Pay attention to the restlessness that pushes you away from old habits. Pay attention to the peace that confirms your next step. Nothing is random. Everything is aligned. And remember this, turning points often look ordinary at first. A random message. A small conversation. A simple decision. A quiet moment. A shift in your emotions. A sudden realization. And yet, these small things open the way to significant change. Heaven works differently than the world. The world looks for loud signs. God speaks through quiet ones. The world looks for dramatic shifts. God moves through subtle but powerful alignment. This is the season where you are being realigned with your destiny. And as you walk through this turning point, you will begin to see the evidence that God has been with you the entire time. He has never left you. Never abandoned you. Never ignored your prayers. He has simply been orchestrating everything around your life with the care of a master artist and the precision of a perfect author. The turning point is here. And it is not weak. It is not subtle. It is not small. It is powerful, divine, intentional, and unstoppable. What God is releasing now will not be delayed. What God is opening now will not be closed. What God is preparing now will not be stolen. What God has promised now will not be missed. You are standing at the beginning of a new chapter. The potential is greater, the blessing is closer, and the breakthrough is nearer than you think. And before we move into the next section, take a moment to acknowledge this truth: your story is about to shift in a way that only God could orchestrate. If this message is speaking to your spirit, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support these videos and stay connected to every new message. There comes a time in every believer's life when God begins to remove certain things, certain people, certain opportunities, and even certain versions of yourself that you once thought were permanent. At first, it feels painful. It feels confusing. It feels like something is being taken from you without explanation. But what you don't realize in the moment is that God is not taking something away from you. He is replacing it. He never subtracts without intending to multiply. He never ends a chapter without preparing a better one. He never shuts a door without designing a greater one that only the next version of you can walk through. This section is about understanding the sacred exchange happening in your life right now. Heaven is replacing what is beneath you with what aligns with your destiny. God is removing what has expired so He can place in your hands what is eternal. He is taking you out of environments where you were surviving and ushering you into environments where you can finally thrive. But the replacement never looks like the loss. The blessing never resembles what left. The promise never imitates the pain. God does not recycle old things, He restores by creating new ones. This is why so many of your recent seasons felt like empty spaces, gaps, unanswered questions, and unfinished stories. You kept asking yourself why certain connections fell apart, why certain opportunities slipped away, why certain doors never opened even though you prayed, fasted, and believed with your whole heart. You didn't understand why God allowed people you trusted to walk away, why plans you invested in collapsed, or why something you loved came to an end. But here is the truth: God was not punishing you. He was protecting you. He was protecting you from people who would have limited your growth. From environments that would have drained your spirit. From opportunities that were too small for your calling. From paths that would have led you far away from the destiny He planned for you. He allowed certain chapters to close because they no longer fit the story He is writing with your life. You were trying to hold on to what God was removing because you thought it was the best you could have. But God knew better. He saw what you could not see. He saw the long-term consequences of keeping what you were begging Him to save. And so, even in your tears, he began to shift the story. And that shift brings us here, to this part of your journey. You are standing in the middle of a divine replacement. God is preparing to give you something so deeply aligned with your purpose, your identity, your calling, and your future that when you receive it, you will finally understand why everything before it had to end. But divine replacements require trust. They require surrender. They require letting go of what you thought your life should look like so God can show you what it was always meant to be. This is where your faith matures. Not when everything goes your way, but when everything falls apart and yet you still believe that God is doing something holy with the pieces. Not when doors open easily, but when they close painfully and you still declare that God is good. Not when you feel strong, but when you feel empty and still whisper yes to His plan. You are not losing. You are transitioning. You are not being abandoned. You are being elevated. You are not being rejected. You are being redirected. The loss was an illusion. The replacement is the truth. And here is what many people do not understand: divine replacements rarely feel comfortable at first. God will stretch your faith. He will challenge your perspective. He will invite you to step away from what is familiar, predictable, and safe so that you can walk toward what is divine, destined, and transformational. You may feel a pull to detach from old mindsets, old routines, old beliefs about yourself, old fears, old insecurities, old versions of you that once felt normal but now feel too tight for the person you are becoming. Growth always demands that you release the version of yourself that belonged to the past season. You cannot carry old limitations into new blessings. You cannot enter your promised land holding on to Egypt. You cannot step into your future carrying the weight of old pain. God is replacing the old version of you with someone stronger, wiser, clearer, more grounded, and more spiritually aligned. And not just internally. Externally too. New people are coming. People who will honor your heart instead of taking advantage of it. People who will value your presence instead of wasting it. People who will pray with you, not prey on you. People who will support your growth, speak life into your dreams, and push you toward your purpose with genuine love and integrity. New opportunities are coming. Opportunities that align with your calling, not your fears. Opportunities that challenge you in the best ways. Opportunities that expand your influence, elevate your spirit, and push you into the realm of what you were truly created to do. New favor is coming. Favor that opens doors you never knocked on. Favor that calls your name in rooms you have never entered. Favor that places you in positions that others thought you were unqualified for. Favor that carries the fingerprints of God so clearly that no one can deny His hand on your life. New peace is coming. A peace that silences the battles in your mind. A peace that restores your energy. A peace that protects your spirit from chaos. A peace that becomes your new normal instead of your occasional experience. Everything that is coming is not a replacement for what you lost. It is a reward for what you endured. This divine replacement is God saying, I saw the pain you didn't talk about. I saw the battles you fought silently. I saw the nights you cried without telling anyone. I saw the strength you used just to keep going. And now I am responding. Not with what you lost, but with what is better, greater, higher, and aligned with the future I have for you. This is the moment where God takes the pen of your life and writes a plot twist that no enemy, no circumstance, no setback, and no season of pain can undo. This is where He pulls you out of the waiting room and places you into the chapter you were built for. This is where He reveals that even your delays were divine. You are not entering a season of restoration that simply gives back what was taken. You are entering a season of divine replacement where God gives you something that surpasses everything you thought you wanted. And eventually, you will look back and say, that loss was not the end of me. It was the beginning of my transformation. Before we move to the next section, take a moment to breathe in this truth. What is leaving your life is not a punishment. What is coming is the promise. If this message is speaking to your spirit, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to stay connected and support this channel as we continue this journey together. There is a moment in your spiritual journey when God pulls back the curtain over your life and shows you who you truly are in His eyes. This moment does not arrive suddenly. It does not appear loudly. It builds quietly inside you over time, through seasons of breaking, healing, learning, waiting, and being reshaped by circumstances that you never asked for but desperately needed. This section is about that moment. The moment heaven whispers, "Now you are ready." For so long, you questioned your identity. You wondered why you felt different. You wondered why certain environments never fit you. You wondered why people misunderstood you, underestimated you, or tried to confine you to a smaller version of yourself. You wondered why your spirit was always reaching for something bigger, something deeper, something that no one around you seemed to understand. You thought you were odd. You thought you were too sensitive, too spiritual, too emotional, too intense, or too different. You thought your dreams were too unrealistic. Your faith too strong for some people. Your calling too heavy for others to support. But here is the truth heaven wants you to understand: you were different because you were chosen. You were selected. You were set apart. God was shaping you, even when you didn't know you were being shaped. The battles you faced were not random. The pain you endured was not meaningless. The seasons of isolation were not wasted. Every moment of confusion, every closed door, every tearful night, every setback, every delay, every unanswered prayer, none of it was punishment. It was preparation. Preparation to become someone you could not have become without going through the fire. Preparation to develop strength that cannot be shaken by storms. Preparation to develop discernment sharp enough to sense danger before it appears. Preparation to build compassion deep enough to lift others who are drowning in pain you once knew. Preparation to grow faith powerful enough to break generational patterns. This moment, this specific moment you are in right now, is where God begins to reveal the true extent of what He has placed inside of you. And the revelation starts subtly. You will begin to feel a new confidence rising inside you. Not arrogance, but clarity. A sense that you finally understand what you carry and why God allowed you to survive things that would have broken others. You will begin to notice that your spirit responds differently to situations that once overwhelmed you. You will feel stronger, clearer, more aligned, more focused, more grounded. You will start walking with a quiet confidence that does not need validation, applause, or permission. Because once God reveals your true identity, you no longer chase acceptance from those who never saw your worth. Heaven has affirmed you. That is enough. In this moment, God begins to awaken gifts inside you that have been dormant for years. Ideas will flow. Creativity will spark. Understanding will deepen. Your intuition will sharpen. Your faith will expand. You will begin to see the path forward more clearly than ever before. What once confused you will now begin to make sense. What once intimidated you will now empower you. What once hurt you will now reveal its purpose. This is when you realize that everything was training. The people who rejected you trained you to stop depending on human approval. The opportunities that fell apart trained you to trust God's timing over your own. The long wait trained you to develop patience, wisdom, and spiritual endurance. The heartbreak trained you to love yourself enough to never settle again. The storm trained you to recognize the strength God placed inside you. Nothing was wasted. Everything was used. This moment is also when God reveals the authority you carry. The authority to speak life. The authority to break cycles. The authority to shift atmospheres. The authority to pray with power. The authority to walk boldly into the assignment God has placed on your life. Your voice is not small. Your prayer is not weak. Your presence is not insignificant. Your calling is not accidental. You carry heaven's imprint. You carry God's breath. You carry purpose that cannot be cancelled. But this moment also comes with responsibility. God does not reveal who you are so you can return to the old version of yourself. He reveals it so you can walk forward, stronger, wiser, clearer, and more committed to your purpose. This is the moment where old habits lose power. Old fears lose influence. Old insecurities lose their voice. Old wounds lose their ability to shape your decisions. You are no longer who you used to be. You are becoming who you were created to be. And once you know who you are, you no longer negotiate with anything that threatens your peace, your purpose, your purity, or your calling. You no longer explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You no longer fight battles beneath your assignment. You no longer accept connections that drain your soul. You no longer tolerate environments that dishonor your spirit. You rise. You grow. You transform. You step into the identity heaven has been shaping within you for years. This is the moment heaven shifts the spotlight onto your destiny. And the powerful truth is this: you are not stepping into something new. You are stepping into something you were always meant for. It was written before you were born. It was spoken before you ever prayed. It was prepared before you faced your first battle. It was waiting for you to become this version of yourself. You were never behind. You were never late. You were being prepared. And God is now saying, step into who you are. Not who they said you were. Not who your past tried to shape you into. Not who fear convinced you to be. Step into the identity I placed within you before you ever took your first breath. You are entering the moment of revelation. The moment when heaven confirms, this is why I kept you. This is why I strengthened you. This is why I didn't let you quit. This is why the enemy fought you so hard. This is why your spirit always felt different. Because you were chosen for something greater. And now, that greatness is rising. Before we move into the next section, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to stay connected and continue receiving these powerful messages. Every person walking with God eventually enters a season where battles intensify, warfare increases, pressure rises, and life suddenly feels heavier than before. This is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that something in the spiritual realm is shifting around you. This section reveals the truth most people never realize. The moments when life feels the hardest are often the moments when you are closest to breakthrough. There is an unseen war happening over your life, and the intensity of this war reveals the magnitude of what God is bringing into your future. The enemy does not attack insignificant people. He attacks people who carry destiny. He attacks people who are rising. He attacks people who are about to step into identity, purpose, authority, and divine timing. This is why your battles seem to increase the moment you start growing. Why pressure rises the moment you start healing. Why distractions appear when you begin focusing. Why fear whispers louder when God begins to speak more clearly. Why spiritual fatigue hits hardest when you are closest to stepping into a new season. You are not imagining it. The warfare is real. But so is the purpose behind it. This unseen battle is not meant to break you. It is meant to reveal you. It exposes your resilience. It strengthens your spirit. It teaches you how to stand when everything around you tries to push you down. It shows you how to rely on God in ways you never needed to before. The enemy attacks believers at 3 crucial times. When God is preparing them. When God is positioning them. When God is about to promote them. You, right now, are in one of those 3. And based on the intensity of what you have been feeling, you are likely in all 3 at the same time. That is why things have felt strange lately. Why your emotions have shifted. Why you have been sensing heaviness without explanation. Why people around you have changed. Why doors opened and closed quickly. Why your spirit has been restless. Why you feel tired even on days when you haven't done much. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under attack because you are powerful. This unseen war is heaven's confirmation that something significant is being released into your life. The enemy is fighting to keep you from reaching it, but he cannot stop what God has already prepared for you. Understand this clearly. Resistance increases when destiny is near. Pressure rises when alignment is happening. Spiritual warfare intensifies when God is shifting you into new territory. You are on the edge of something major. You can sense it even if you cannot describe it. Something in your spirit knows you were made for more, and that knowing has caused the spiritual atmosphere around you to react. The enemy wants you to give up, step back, shrink, and return to who you used to be. He wants you to believe that nothing is changing. He wants you to feel defeated by battles that are actually indicators of your breakthrough. But here is the truth. You have already survived worse than what you are facing right now. You have already overcome things that tried to destroy you. You have already endured storms that should have drowned you. You have already emerged stronger from struggles that were meant to bury you. This battle you are in now is not your ending. It is your final stretch. Every fight has a final round. Every story has a turning point. Every divine promise has a moment when the enemy panics because he knows he cannot stop what God is doing. That is what is happening now. You are stepping into a season where the enemy's attempts will fail repeatedly. His influence is weakening. His grip is loosening. His strategies are collapsing. Why? Because you are entering the timeline God ordained for you, and nothing can interrupt it. What God has spoken is unfolding. What God has promised is manifesting. What God has planned is coming together piece by piece. But here is what you must understand: in seasons of intense warfare, God is not distant. He is closer than he has ever been. He is protecting you, strengthening you, surrounding you with unseen angels, and guiding your steps even when you feel uncertain. You are not fighting alone. You are not walking alone. You are not enduring alone. Heaven is standing with you. The angels assigned to your life are active. God Himself is fighting battles you do not see. Everything that is happening right now has purpose. The pressure is pushing you into alignment. The warfare is unlocking a new level of spiritual authority. The heaviness is training your spirit. The confusion is clearing your path. The shaking is removing what cannot go with you into the next chapter. By the time this season ends, you will not be the same. You will be stronger. You will be wiser. You will be more focused. You will be more spiritually grounded. You will walk with clarity instead of confusion. You will walk with peace instead of fear. You will walk with authority instead of hesitation. And when this breakthrough manifests, you will realize why the enemy fought so hard. He wasn't fighting you because of where you were. He was fighting you because of where you are going. He sees the doors God is opening. He sees the opportunities approaching. He sees the favor surrounding you. He sees the blessings being positioned. He sees the purpose rising inside you. He sees the new season forming. He sees your destiny drawing near. But he cannot stop it. This unseen war is proof of your progress. Proof of your growth. Proof of your calling. Proof of your divine assignment. And one day soon, you will look back and realize that this battle did not break you. It exposed the warrior God placed inside you. Before we move forward into the next section, take a moment to let this truth settle in your spirit. You are not fighting because you are losing. You are fighting because you are about to win. If this has encouraged you, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next message designed to strengthen your journey.